Welcome back to 90+1 Facts, where now there's suddenly a bunch of you to listen to me lisp for about 15 minutes. Today's video consists of Bayern Munich facts as well as the consistently poor pronunciation of the German language. 1. Bayern was founded in 1900 by 11 players, led by Franz John. 2. The 11 players broke away from a Munich gymnastics club after other members said they were not allowed to join the German Football Association. 3. The club eventually made their own gymnastics department, along with chess, handball, basketball, bowling, table tennis and senior football. 4. FC Bayern played their first game against FC Nuremberg in 1901, battering Nuremberg 6-0. 5. During the rise of the Hitler regime in Germany, it saw many important Jewish club figures resign. President Landauer moved to Switzerland and Bayern were often taunted by the Nazis as a Juden club. 6. The Nazi eagle and swastika was incorporated into the team's badge from 1938 until 1945, but some other badges they have had include a blue and white flag and also this badge, which is awfully similar to Bavarian rivals FC Nuremberg. 7. Bayern Munich is actually the anglicised version of the club's name, with Bayern München being the proper title. According to my extensive knowledge of German, Bayern means Bavaria, the part of Germany where Munich sits nicely. 8. Die Bayern isn't actually a threat, but one of their nicknames, along with Die Roten and Der FCB. 9. Die Roten are the most successful club in German history, with 27 Bundesliga titles and 18 DFB Pokals. 10. 5 of those Bundesliga titles were consecutive from 2012 until 2017. 11. 5 is also the amount of Champions Leagues that Bayern have won, a record for a German team. 12. President Uli Hoeneß used to play for the club, where he won 3 Bundesligas, 1 DFB Pokal and 3 European Cups. 13. Hoeneß scored 115 in 336 in his playing days at the club. He then became commercial manager, and since then, membership numbers have increased to 230,000, the second largest in the world. 14. However, everyone everywhere seems to hate paying tax. So in 2014, Uli Hoeneß admitted to evading nearly 30 million euros in taxes and sent to 3 years in prison. 15. Hoeneß completed his sentence early in 2016 and a few months later was re-elected as president of Bayern with 97% of the votes. The other 3% voted for no one. He was the only candidate. 16. Bayern's domination is shown by the all-time German combined table with 3,488 points, 788 more than Werder Bremen in second place. 17. This table also shows that Bayern has scored the most goals with 3,806, nearly 1,000 more than Bremen in second place. 18. I get up at 6 AM and no one calls me a champion, but the earliest time Bayern have been crowned champions was on the 25th of March 2014 with a record 7 games left. 19. Points mean prizes. Specifically, when you get a record 91 points in the 2012-13 season, you're probably going to win something. 20. This means Bayern holds the biggest margin of points between champions and runner-up, sitting a comfortable 25 points above Dortmund in 2012-13. 21. It doesn't sound much like there'd ever be a reason to leave Bayern, and 6 people agree with me. Klaus Augenthaler, Bernd Dernberger, Sepp Maier, Hans Flügler, Franz Roth, and Hans-Georg Schwarzenbeck all spent their entire careers at the German club. 22. Bayern dominated the 70s just as much as Disco did, so it makes sense that their league win was thrashing Borussia Dortmund 11-1 in 1971. 23. However, their record league defeat was also in the 70s, losing 7-0 to Schalke. 24. Bayern have never been relegated from the Bundesliga, but they have only featured in 53 out of 55 seasons. When the league was created in 1963, they combined all of the regional leagues together, but as 1860 Munich finished first the season before, they were picked instead of Bayern to start in the Bundesliga. 25. Bayern's Allianz Arena holds 75,000 fans for league games, only second largest to rival Dortmund's 81,359 capacity Westfalenstadion. 26. You may park the bus at the Allianz, but there's plenty of space to park your car too, with the biggest car park in Europe to cater for their fans with 9,800 spaces. 27. I like sharing as much as the Nets guy, but Bayern clearly didn't mind between 2005 and 2017, where the Allianz Arena was shared between Bayern Munich and 1860 Munich. 28. The impressive ground was the first in the world to have a full colour changing exterior, with it changing red for Bayern games, blue for 1816 Munich games, and white for national team games. 29. Due to its rounded appearance, the Allianz has been nicknamed the Schlauchboot, meaning inflatable boat. 30. Bayern's finances are so strong that it paid off its Allianz Arena stadium loan 16 years early. 31. In Bayern's first season at the Allianz Arena, Bayern and 1816 Munich fans consumed 700,000 sausages and 3 million litres of beer. 32. We're not 101 facts, but this fact is 101 goals, which is how many Bayern scored in the 1971-1972 season. 33. To commemorate this feat, there are 101 footballs hanging from the ceiling in the Bayern Museum. 40 balls are red to signify the amount of goals Gerd Müller scored that season. 34. If you visit the Bayern Museum, you'll see a huge Sanyo battery with a foot-sized hole in it. That's because in 1997, Jurgen Klinsmann kicked a massive hole in it due to being unhappy after being sent off. 35. Bayern kits have always been made by Adidas, who actually own an 8.3% stake of the club. 36. Gerd Müller is Bayern's top scorer with 564 goals in 605 appearances, which gives him the best goals to game ratio of everyone at the club with 0.88. 37. 365 of those goals were scored in the Bundesliga in his 14-year career. That works out as 26 goals a season on average for 14 years in a row. If Harry Kane was to match that in the Premier League, he would finish his haul in 2028. 38. Their longest serving manager is Udo Lattek, from 1970 until 1975 and from 1983 till 1987. 39. 2012 till 2013 was clearly a good year for Bayern, where they scored in every single game of the season. 40. Bayern are the only German club to win the treble back in 2012-13. 41. Bayern have clearly never taken Little John's advice to get low, with their lowest position ever being 12th in 1977-78. 42. Bayern's worst scoreless run was just 3 games in 2010-11. 43. Bayern's longest clean sheet streak was 8 matches in 2011-12. They scored 25 goals in the process. 44. Their longest winning streak was a mental 19 matches in 2013-14, scoring 65 goals and conceding just 10. 45. You have to go back to 1977 for their longest losing streak of 5 matches, which included a 6-3 drubbing by Duisburg. 46. Bayern's oldest player to turn out for them is a Harald Schumacher, making 8 appearances in the 1990s. Schumacher then became goalkeeping coach before crossing to Dortmund and playing 1 game for them. 47. The closest Bayern have come to an unbeaten season was in 1986-87, losing just 1 game. 48. The only non-German to be permanent captain of Bayern is Dutchman Mark van Bommel. 49. Since 1982, at least 1 Bayern player has been in the starting lineup of a World Cup final. 50. The Bavarians were the last club to win the European Cup/Champions League 3 times in a row. 51. The club lifted their first European Cup by beating Atletico Madrid 4-0 in 1973-74. 52. Along with Juventus, Chelsea and Manchester United, Bayern are one of the only teams to have won the European Cup, Cup Winners' Cup and UEFA Cup. 53. Ex-player Roy Mackay scored the fastest goal in Champions League history in just 10 seconds against Real Madrid in 2007. 54. Bayern hold the record of most consecutive Champions League home wins with 16. 55. The 2017 quarter-final against Madrid was the first time since 2014 that Bayern had lost both legs of a Champions League knockout tie. 56. Arturo Vidal's red card against Madrid in 2017 was the club's 19th sending off in the Champions League. Only Juventus have had more, with 22. 57. Funny banterous German man Thomas Müller is Bayern's top European goalscorer with 39. 58. Sepp Maier has the most appearances for the club in all competitions with a whopping 700. 59. Højbjerg is the club's youngest player to make an appearance at just 17 years and 10 days. He now sort of plays for Southampton sometimes. 60. Legendary madman Oliver Kahn has the highest number of Bundesliga's wins for a player with 310. He kept the highest number of clean sheets with 196. 61. 429 of those appearances were for Bayern, making him second to Sepp Maier in appearances for goalkeepers at the club. 62. Oliver Kahn also saved a record 3 penalties in the 2001 Champions League final penalty shootout. 63. 5 out of 6 of Bayern's first managers were English. However, their last English coach was David Davidson back in 1950. 64. Bayern have had the record of 9 consecutive seasons where all their Bundesliga games were sold out, from 2007-08 until 2015-16. 65. However, every single home game since they moved to the Allianz Arena in 2005 has been completely sold out. 66. Win-win-win, that's what Bayern do, winning the most doubles in Germany with 11. 67. Branko Zebek managed to win Munich's first double using only 13 different players. 68. Bayern have won 8 of their previous 9 opening games. They have scored at least 2 goals in all of them, and the last time they didn't win was in 2008 when they drew 2-2 against Hamburger. 69. They've won their last 6 opening matches, equaling Kaiserslaughter's consecutive opening day win Bundesliga record. 70. In the 1970s, Bayern would use a special away kit that mimicked Brazil when playing against Kaiserslautern. This was due to some weird superstition, which turns out didn't work as they still lost 4-0. 71. In the 2016-17 season, Bayern broke the record for last-minute Bundesliga goals, scoring 8 goals after the 90-minute mark. 72. Soren Lerby is Bayern's shortest-serving coach, lasting from October 91 until March 92. He lasted 17 games with a win percentage of just 29%. It's unsurprisingly the only managerial position he's held. 73. However, Soren Lerby was much more successful as a player for Bayern, winning 2 Bundesligas, 2 DFB Pokals and scoring 22 in 89. He also strangely always played without shin pads. 74. Ottmar Hitzfeld is Bayern's most decorated coach, winning 5 Bundesligas, 3 DFB Pokals, 4 DFB Liga Pokals, 1 Champions League and 1 Intercontinental Cup. 75. Twice named European Footballer of the Year, Franz Beckenbauer is widely regarded as one of the greatest players ever. Beckenbauer won 4 Bundesligas, 4 DFB Pokals, 3 European Cups, 1 Cup Winners' Cup and an Intercontinental Cup. 76. In 2 very short spells as manager, Beckenbauer won a Bundesliga and a UEFA Cup, being in charge for just 19 games. 77. Bayern essentially bullied Dortmund, to be honest, like an older brother or an obese kid with problems at home. They've beaten Dortmund 54 times, drawing 30 and losing 32. 78. Bayern featured in the first competitive German match to include a video assistant referee, which was used in the Bayern vs Dortmund game in the 2017 German Super Cup. 79. The supposed arch-rivals actually have quite a decent relationship, with Dortmund CEO Watzke saying in 2016 that the relationship to Bayern is as good as it's ever been. 80. Deals that this relationship involve include Götze to Bayern, Lewandowski to Bayern, Rowe to Dortmund, Hummels to Bayern, and Götze back to Dortmund. 81. Bayern's record sale is a whopping 30 million euros for Toni Kroos to Real Madrid in 2014. Bit boring, isn't it? 82. 22-year-old Quentin Tolisso at 41 million euros is Bayern's biggest transfer purchase, with arguably their best player Lewandowski surprisingly moving to them on a free from rivals Dortmund. 83. In 2015-16, Robert Lewandowski came on and banged in 5 for Bayern Munich, the most goals scored by a substitute. 84. Bayern starred in the first televised Bundesliga match in 1971-72 against Schalke. It was a title decider which Bayern won 5-1, obviously. 85. Bayern may be essentially called FC Bavaria, but FC Nuremberg, FC Augsburg, TSV 1860 München and FC Ingolstadt, amongst others, also come from Bavaria. 86. Crack out the cringeometer, as Bayern Munich have retired the number 12 because they regard the supporters as the 12th man. 87. Bayern love to batter Arsenal, having beat them 5-1 in their past 3 competitive meetings. Arsenal did win on penalties in pre-season this year, so consolation, I guess. 88. Die Roten have scored 26 goals against the Gunners, only second to Barcelona's 27 against Celtic as the most goals against a single opponent in Champions League history. 89. Bayern are the only German team to complete more than 1,000 passes in a game, beating Hertha Berlin 3-1 in the process. 90. Bayern's most famous fans include Boris Becker, Vladimir Klitschko, and Pope Benedict XVI. 91. Whenever Bayern win the league, they partake in a tradition called beer showering, which entails launching beer over everyone and everything. And that's it, finally. Thank you for watching, go check out some of the other videos and be sure to subscribe to 90+1 Facts. Until next time, don't drink yourself to death.